Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a drive through the most asked about neighborhoods by my viewers that call in, so buckle up and let's take a drive through Clovis together. We're going to be looking at several neighborhoods in many different parts of town. We're starting in northwest Clovis and making our way clockwise throughout all of Clovis. You might be surprised by the difference in price ranges and how quickly some neighborhoods sell, especially as we get further into the video. I'll place some average stats over the past year down in the left corner of the tour. The stats that I want to especially emphasize are the total number of properties sold and the days on market. The inventory in some of these areas can be dramatically different. Most of the homes here in this upper northwest section have a lot of character. They're a little older. The northern portion sold 5 properties total last year from March to March and has slightly lower price point than its neighbors to the south. As we venture into the southern portion of this neighborhood, we cross into an area that's known as Cindy Lane or Candy Cane Lane. During December, they extensively decorate for the holiday season, drawing huge crowds of drivers and walkers. We went this past year, it was very busy. It's actually not mandatory to decorate if you live in this neighborhood, but from what I've observed, there were only 1 or 2 houses that didn't participate this last year. Another benefit of living in this area is its proximity to some of the major amenities. It's only about 5 minutes away from groceries, gas, restaurants, Target, PetSmart, and only 12 minutes away from Fresno's major shopping center, River Park. This neighborhood actually backs up to a pretty active walking and biking trail. My wife Jill and I enjoy taking our 10-month-old puppy Oliver down the trail to socialize him a bit. He loves all the pets. If there are any areas today that we're looking at that you'd like me to dive a little deeper into, please let me know down in the comments. Now we're just north of Buchanan High School. Not exactly sure what the reason is, but a large amount of my viewers who call in actually ask about this high school in particular. The good news is there's a lot of inventory in these neighborhoods we are driving through. It's in walking distance from Buchanan, as well as its elementary and middle schools, which share the same campus. This area is actually one of the highest amounts of homes sold over the past year. It shares the benefit of being a short drive away from those major amenities we talked about in those first neighborhoods, only adding a few minutes onto the drive. As we venture just across the street here, we have another neighborhood with relatively high turnover from the past year. Even just crossing the street heavily affects the price range by almost $40,000. One of the cons associated with these neighborhoods is actually that the school is so close, because certain times of the day can get pretty busy with traffic. As we venture into North Clovis, we find lots of newer homes. The turnover in this particular neighborhood is so low, I actually had to go back to 2023 in order to get some adequate numbers. Only 2 homes have moved in the past 2 years, which is a good sign of satisfaction, I think. It's also one of the highest price points at an average of $1.35 million and the largest square footage we'll see in the drive-thru today. Just north of the last neighborhood, we find a slightly different style of home. Again, we're in a high price range at $1.24 million, but that's still $100,000 less than the homes we looked at just a street away. As we get closer to Shepherd Avenue with the next neighborhood, we're going to start seeing some of that suburban countryside. You have a mountain view to the northeast. I'd consider this neighborhood to be a good reflection of what an average house might look like in Clovis. Not that it's average in price or build, but compared to some of the other homes that we saw in those last two neighborhoods, it's a little more common of a style. As we get further east here, we start to lose access from some of Fresno's amenities. It increases that drive to around 20 minutes if you want to get to River Park. It's fairly close to Highway 168 though, which can take you to grocery stores, gyms, and restaurants in about 10 to 15 minutes. DeVille East features some of the newer builds from Granville Homes. Our price point is starting to come back down a little bit at an average of $753,000 over the past year. The north portion and the south portion are going to feature different styles, which we'll see here in the drive, some being a little more artistic, I'd describe it as. We'll see some empty lots as well through this area as they continue to develop. Now, Harlan Ranch. This is definitely the second most asked about neighborhood from my callers. It's actually a collection of different styles and sub-communities that share a clubhouse, a large grassy area, and a central elementary school. This entire area has an HOA fee, as far as I know, and some interesting rules on parking from what some residents have told me. The first builds we're looking at here, some of the smallest in the community, we're averaging at just over 1,400 square feet and just over $400,000. The streets here are very narrow, which is why I can't get the entire house in frame. Parking is also very limited since the homes are so close together, not leaving a lot of space between the homes. This could be great for a starter or people who value that low maintenance yard, but it's probably not great for claustrophobics. Here we see that large grassy area, a small amphitheater, clubhouse, park, and the elementary school bud rank is just a little bit further. The second community we're driving through is the mid-sized homes. One unique feature that blends the first neighborhood we looked at and actually the next neighborhood on the list is the larger streets, but there's no sidewalks here in those mid-range homes, making the front door a little closer to the street. These homes jump about $200,000 higher than the first neighborhood we looked at. Their proximity to the clubhouse and the school is nearly identical, which is honestly the case for each unique community here in Heartland Ranch. Our final style here in Heartland Ranch are the larger lots. These had the most amount of inventory over the last year based on the homes that were driven through today, but almost double the time on market. Like the rest of the neighborhoods, it's about a 3-minute drive to Highway 168, which links all of Clovis together, but also gives you easy access to shopping centers as long as you're comfortable with driving on the freeway. It's probably about a 15-minute drive to get to those amenities, just taking the side streets. Now we are outside of our red boundary, but in an area considered unincorporated Clovis. Here you'll find larger lot sizes, older homes, and much more space between the homes. The downside of looking in this area is that there's not a whole lot of homes going up for sale. In fact, over the last year, this area only saw one home hit the market. It was a mid-sized home, but it had about a half-acre lot. All right, we're now in Central Clovis. This area is in walking distance of Clovis High School, the original, and its neighboring elementary school. Clark Middle School, which is its feeder, is a short drive away as well. We'll see an average of just under $500,000. But the days on market is very deceiving here. Most of the homes were either 2 to 5 days or somewhere between 70 and 110 days. There wasn't a whole lot in between, which means it's potentially a very competitive market if the home's priced right. It's only about 5 minutes away from groceries. There's a Save Mart down the street, one of our favorite pizza places, More Than Pizza, get the pizza sticks, and about 10 to 15 minutes away from Sierra Vista Mall and their cinema there if you want to check out the movies. It's also near one of my favorite places to eat in town, Colton's Social House. I'm a sucker for a good jalapeno burger. This area has the highest amount of property sold that we've looked at so far in our tour. Had about 37 homes over the past year, which means there's ample opportunities for you to find your next home. Now that we're in the southeast portion of Clovis, we're right next to all of that Clovis countryside I've mentioned in other videos. Just in between Clovis East High School and the soon-to-open Clovis South High School campus, as well as their elementary and middle schools for both. This area is being heavily developed. It's near the master planned community Loma Vista, which gives it some access to newer grocery stores, newer gas stations, newer restaurants. But with that in mind, a lot of the area is still under construction. There's a large variety of homes in this area, which isn't extensively represented in the drive today, but I still wanted to give a taste of what homes near the countryside can still look like. Finally, we head into Old Town Clovis. This place has been mentioned in the comment section of other videos so many times. We find our lowest price point of the tour here at about $342,000, as well as a smaller square footage at around 1,100 square feet. As the name suggests, it's very close to the charming Old Town Clovis shopping district. Many great restaurants, antique shops, local events like Big Hat Days and farmers markets in the summer. It's also one of the closest neighborhoods to Sierra Vista Mall and restaurants that we've looked at so far on this drive. Inventory moves so quickly here in Clovis that it's important to get the jump on the competition. So click here to find the fastest way to snag your next home in Clovis.